Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I trust you are well, you are winning, you are making progress, and happy new year. God has given us another chance for a fresh start to fresh new beginnings, and we thank him for that. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you guys about the Epiphany. Epiphany means revelation, to shine, to reveal, just like the bright star that revealed a guiding light for the wise men to come to the baby Jesus and worship and adore him in Bethlehem. So the Epiphany is simply a feast day of celebrating the divinity, the divine nature of Jesus. The Epiphany commemorates the visit of the travelers, commonly known as the wise men. Now, these wise men came to pay homage to the baby Jesus. They came to visit him, to worship him and adore him, and came with gifts for him, following a bright shining star. And by the time they reached, Mary and Joseph were no longer, and baby Jesus were no longer in the manger. They had finally found a decent room to put the baby Jesus and also to live in. It is widely believed that each time a new king was born and he was great, there would be a bright shining star. So the Epiphany for these travelers, the wise men, began the moment they spotted this bright shining star. Their king sent these wise men with gifts to pay homage to the future king of Judah. The travelers then, assuming that the future king was the son of King Herold, they decided to arrive at the palace of King Herold with the gifts, asking for the king to pay homage to him. Herod then heard about this news of the new king, the new Messiah being born, and he decided to call for a meeting with the high priests, experts in the law, and ask them, where is this king, the Messiah, going to be born? And they answered him, in Bethlehem of Judea. Herod really wanted to know more about this king, the Messiah, the new king who was going to be great. He saw meetings kept on going on, and yeah, he really wanted to know. So he asked the wise men, when exactly and what time did you see the star appear in the sky? And Herod continued being corny. He sent the travelers with specific instructions. He told them, go find this child in Bethlehem, and when you find him, come to me and find me, and I will worship him. Tell me where he is, and I will go and also worship him and adore him. But no, we all know that that wasn't his plan. He wanted to kill him. He did not want a Messiah. He did not want any king greater than him. So after the meeting, Herod set them off, and they set off for Bethlehem, following this star, the moving star. Now keep in mind, this star wasn't stagnant. It was moving. It was directing them. It was God leading them to the baby Jesus. They then finally stopped at the house where the baby Jesus was with his mother Mary, and they were overjoyed, and they were so happy. They were so overjoyed because they'd finally met the Messiah, that met the king who was promised. They then entered the house, knelt down and fell down, worshipped and adored the baby Jesus. After they handed him over the gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh. Now, who were these wise men, and why did they travel to Bethlehem? We've seen they traveled to Bethlehem to pay homage to the king, or the Messiah, to give him gifts. Now, these wise men are believed to be a class of scholars in Persia, who were from Persia and who were especially interested in astronomy and alchemy, a science related to chemistry. I wasn't good at chemistry, so we'll leave it at that. And Daniel called these travelers wise men from the east. Matthew too called them wise men from the east, and also called them magi, which still refers to astronomers who served in royal courts through the ancient. Others, like Isaiah, referred to them as kings, because in Isaiah, we read in Isaiah chapter 61-6, kings come into brightness of your dawn, bearing gold and frankincense. And we see that these wise men, these travelers, brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the king. In Psalms chapter 72 verses 11, it reads, may all kings fall down before him. This takes all kings, God-fearing and Gentiles, all fall before him. The wise men bowed down and worshipped and adored Jesus. So they fell at the feet of Jesus, bowed down and worshipped him. They also referred to them as sorcerers in Daniel chapter 2 verses 48. And Acts of the Apostles chapter 13 verses 6-11. Tertullian argued that they were astrologers by trade but considered kings culturally, and Herodotus considered them travelers and political figures. Now, however you decide to call them, we can all agree that they were wise men and they worshipped and adored Jesus. One of the influences for these wise men, these travelers, to come and pay homage, to visit the Messiah was a sorcerer. He's called Balaam. Now, not the producer. He had a prophetic revelation from God himself, about the coming Messiah. So he shared it with them, and this influenced them to come and pay homage to the baby Jesus. We read in Numbers chapter 24 verses 17. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star will come out of Jacob. A scepter will rise out of Israel, and he shall shatter the forehead of Moab and the skulls of the sons of Seth. The word of God, thanks be to God. So these wise men were also guided by God through a bright shining star, not an ordinary star, but a bright and moving star. Now I want us to look at the gifts that they gave to the baby Jesus when they finally reached and visited him. The gold, the myrrh, the frankincense, and what they symbolized. Because in their culture it was a sign of respect, power, and authority in society. If you were a king and you were given offerings, even now in Mass, during offertory, we offer to the Lord. Even till today, we still pay homage. Even today, we still pay homage. We give offerings. We give whatever we have to the King. In their culture, they observe the tradition of giving gifts, showing respect, royalty, and showing power in society. We read in 2 Chronicles 32:23, many brought offerings to Jerusalem for the Lord and valuable gifts for Hezekiah, king of Judah. In Psalms chapter 72 verse 10, may the kings of Tarshish and of distant shores bring tribute to him. May the kings of Sheba and Seba present him gifts. The word of God, thanks be to God. Now we start with gold, as it was one of the gifts they brought to the baby Jesus. This gold represented wealth in both the ancient secular and spiritual world. Just as gold is also considered to be a treasure, it's a sign of wealth. It still carries great value as much as it carried back then as it does today. Gold was first used in adornments such as a nose rings, bracelets given to Rebecca. You see that in Genesis chapter 24. Gold became highly valuable by the wealthy. It started appearing in their furnishings, in their clothing, and their carriages. Other forms of gold were in form of dust, slabs. One I know most is gold dust. The Hebrews prized it as well. For example, we see it in the Ark of the Covenant. It was overlaid with pure gold, pure and refined gold. The mercy seat of the tabernacle and the drinking vessels of Solomon all contained gold, along with his utensils, candlesticks, his dishes, his bowls, his curtain rods, and many other items were all covered in gold. Gold became associated with anything of great value, with nobility. In the book of Esther, chapter 2, verses 17, it reads, so he set a royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Gold was also associated with the worship of God. Frankincense. Frankincense is a fragrant resin that comes from a type of tree found in what is now Arabia and Palestine. The first part of the name frank is because the scent is frank. It's strong. The aroma is, when it's lit, you really feel it. It's really strong. And it's also frank because of how long it steadily burns. When you light it and it burns, it will burn for long, for some good time. This incense already had a history of being used in the temple. The priest utilized it as a base for incense, as well as an ingredient of meat offerings they made on behalf of God's people. In Leviticus chapter 2 verses 1, when anyone offers an offering of a meal offering to Yahweh, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil on it and put frankincense on it. Still in Leviticus chapter 2 verses 15, you shall put oil on it and lay frankincense on it. It's a meal offering. And Songs of Songs chapter 3 verses 6, it reads, who is this who comes up from the wilderness, like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all the spices of the merchant? Myrrh, according to the scholars, had a greater value than gold when Jesus was born. Myrrh is a dried gum obtained from the balsam tree. It served many ceremonial practical uses. In Exodus chapter 30, myrrh is mentioned as an ingredient in the oil of holy anointment. and also take fine spices of liquid myrrh and 500 shekels. In Exodus 30 chapter 23, it was sometimes accompanied with the temple incense. The scent of myrrh is acknowledged in several Old Testament passages. All their garments smell of myrrh and aloes and cassia. That's Psalms 45 chapter 8. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh and cinnamon. Proverbs 7 chapter 17. Songs of Songs chapter 3 verses 6. Who is this who comes up from the wilderness, like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all the spices of the merchant? Myrrh also had a medicinal quality in areas like oral health and treatment of arthritis. The Jews used it to offer pain relief to those who were physically suffering, and it was also used in embalming. Myrrh may seem like an odd gift to give to a baby or to celebrate his birthday. The wise men could have brought the myrrh spice with less of its daily use and more of its great worth. The myrrh was presented to Jesus, foreshadowing his death, the frankincense detonating his deity, and the gold signifying his kingship. Just like the wise men, for us, this Epiphany, we should celebrate it by giving Jesus gifts of our time, our love, acts of charity, devote our talents to him, saying thank you, and build up his kingdom. Because giving back doesn't just show him our gratitude, it creates God's goodness to shine through us and brings others close to him. Because when people see you, they should see Jesus in you. So that's it for today's video. I hope it was helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, follow me on my social media handles, and bye. See you in my next video. Happy New Year again.